We just saw, just a little clarification, we just saw Neil Degrasse Tyson, Cosmos, March 4th. What would you call it? A sneak preview?
It was the premiere screening of the first episode of the new Cosmos series.
Which is pretty special insofar as I didn't think I was going to get in.
Yeah, it was actually a very last minute event. Like, I actually just texted my friend Emery, and I was like, what are you into? He's like, I'm going to see the new Cosmos. I'm like, oh man, how do we get in on that? And then we got in on it. It was magic.
Yeah,
Pure magic.
I mean, I actually, a little story here, I actually had every intention of going to the observatory on the DL because I work in catering and our catering staff was doing that event.
Right.
And I was just dropping Caroline off and I figured, oh, I'll walk inside and if I managed to get in, and I got in. Like, they weren't even, no tickets, no, I'm like, I didn't sign up online, or they're
no
like, we don't care, here's the stamp.
Didn't care who he was, gave him some free popcorn, just put him in. Fox stamps.
Yeah.
Fox stamps, motherlickers.
Yeah, free popcorn and soda, which I got 2 of each, by the way, because it was there and awesome.
We're actors. We get free food when it happens. We're opportunistic that way.
Oh, that was the conclusion of my story. I didn't get to take my girl. I didn't get to invite my girl because I thought I was on a solo mission of hijinks tonight, and so I ended up at Cosmos without my girl. And really, if you have somebody in your life who loves you, which is making some of you depressed right now, it's okay. Neil Degrasse Tyson is still on screen.
He'll still soothe you.
If you have somebody in your life who actually loves and cares about you, watch this with them.
Right.
And I know that seems silly, like it's a science show. Why do I need somebody who I'm there that I care about or whatever intimately?
It's one of those shows that really, it touches upon the infinite and reminds you that your place in the universe is insignificant. And in that there's kind of a joy in that. Like, you're so lucky and you should be so appreciative of these moments that you have. And if you have someone, it reminds you how lucky you are to be sharing this short amount of time with that person. And it's beautiful. It's just, yeah. Yeah,
I really thought about my girl, especially like some of those opening sequences where he is explaining the vastness and how far we've come and how little we've still actually,
right,
have attained. And oh, you just want to reach on and
you just want to reach out and hold on to whoever you have.
To anything beautiful, because anything that means anything is borderline miraculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it really hit home how much I've been in a long distance relationship for the last 6 months, and it really hit home how much I wanted him to be physically present and with me for that moment, to kind of experience it with me and see it with me. And it's something that I try to articulate as much as possible to my partner. I try to tell him as often as possible that I feel so very lucky to be sharing this short amount of time with him. And this show really hit home. It really drove that point home for me.
Now, speaking of the opening, I loved his little lecture that so concisely, within 3 sentences, explained all of what science is. Like, he broke it down to being basically, what did he say? He's like, you observe, you take a guess, and if it works, you keep it. If it doesn't work, you throw it away.
Right.
Right. And to me, that was just like, and he said it much better than I did.
Neil Degrasse Tyson.
It was very eloquent. It was very quick. It was very to the point.
Right.
And it was something you can apply in your everyday life, especially if you're a good skeptic, critical thinker.
Right. And basically, it drove home the point. Science is everything, and science is all around us.
Yeah.
Drop mic, walk off. That's all Neil Degrasse Tyson ever has to do.
Yeah, like in those 3 seconds. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but in those 3 to 5 seconds, there was more critical thinking promoted than all 3 episodes of Bad Universe. So I'm saying.
Oh, you really need to put that point.
I'm sorry, but watching this and then thinking about Bad Universe, it was just like...
Well, you can't compare the two things. One is...
You can't.
One is,
You shouldn't.
Sagan-based. The other is Phil Plait making a go at it. One is Sagan, one is our buddy Phil. So we're gonna drop that. Drop topic.
Drop topic.
And move on.
So Tyson opened it, like you said, I think, dropped the fucking mic. And then continued into some beautiful fucking images.
Right. There was some great animation on this.
It was a monk. He was a monk.
Yeah, he was bringing up these ideas. It was a monk. I can't remember.
Read books.
He read books that he wasn't supposed to read.
Because he was a religious person, and religious people aren't supposed to read.
They aren't.
Don't worry, most of them don't. But,
but this was at a time when it was like straight up not allowed to be reading. It's not just like they don't read, or it's disencouraged. It's like
ironically, that probably motivated him to read.
Most likely, it was
a rebellious monk.
A rebellious monk.
Was it Bo? Was it
Bruno? I believe.
Bruno. Bruno Monk.
Bruno Mars.
I don't know why
Not to be confused with Bruno Mars. Very subtly and important differences.
Yeah.
But he, but in his the explanation that they were doing with this animation, they said the phrase, realizing the infinite was like continuously falling in love. And that is, it was so beautiful and perfect. Oh my God.
Actually, you know what some of those sequences reminded me of now that you say that is, did you see The Fountain?
Oh yeah. With the woman from The Mummy.
The woman from, yes, the Oscar-nominated...
She was in The Mummy, that's how I remember her.
Keira Knightley?
No, not Keira Knightley. The other British lady that has...
They're kind of interchangeable.
They're not. Keira Knightley is a stick figure. The other one has boobs.
Do they? I thought they both did not have boobs.
No, this one has boobs. I'm pretty sure... We can look this up. We have the internet.
No, let's not look this up.
But anyway...
The Fountain, when Hugh Jackman is being shot through space, through the infinite, through all that stuff... Which was done with micro filming, ironically.
Right.
And also ties into the whole cosmos thing where there have been atoms, the mass of suns, and there have been, not suns, the mass of atoms, but there have been, what did he say?
There are universes essentially smaller than atoms, or galaxies, or things smaller than atoms. He's comparing the very tiniest things to the very largest things on the cosmic scale. Is what Neil Degrasse Tyson was trying to do.
I'm sure this is
an argument. Line leading the line.
This is an argument that I'm sure some Republican politicians have made against PBS and other educational outlets. We're not helping the cause. No. So anyways, this reminded me of The Fountain, Hugh Jackman being shot through the infinite, ironically shot with micro cinematography. This was also just as gorgeous with the animation style they used, which reminded you...
It reminded me a lot of Samurai Jack.
Yeah. Which I know you laugh about, but to me, that guy is amazing. I forget his name, but... Clone Wars guy, Dexter's Laboratory.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
But it was beautifully done animation, and it really captured that idea of the infinite, and that is the main point the cosmos is trying to bring us, that we're tiny on the cosmic scale.
Yeah.
Right.
That we are nothing, and yet that means everything, and kind of.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we are nothing, but that means everything. I think that's a good that's a good point.
That sounds like something some douchebag says after they smoke weed in honor of Carl Sagan.
We could do that. We could smoke weed in honor of Carl Sagan.
No, I'm gonna drink. You know what I'm gonna do next time? This Sunday when I watch The Cosmos, the official premiere with my girl Anna. This time, I'm gonna drink wine. Well, because that is what Tyson is all about.
Tyson is a wine aficionado.
In the Sagan generation, it was all about the weed.
And now we can, with Neil deGrasse Tyson, we can drink wine. We can feel like adults versus like college kids.
Yeah, because we're a little classier. We're alcoholics, not druggies.
Well, when my boy Donnie moves to Los Angeles and we can finally watch The Cosmos together, we will smoke weed. You guys can drink wine.
We can drink wine. We're going to get a bottle of wine. We're going to drink it while we watch The Cosmos.
Right. There you go. That's a very classy and intelligent date that you've got planned.
So I have not a criticism, a question, something that, and it was because a friend of ours told us a rumor that he heard from a friend that Neil deGrasse Tyson was being pressured by Druyan to do it more like Sagan, do it more like Carl. And so the whole time I'm watching it, because I heard this rumor, the whole time I'm watching it, every time he speaks, all I can think of is he doing an impression of Carl Sagan?
Right.
No. And I'm sure that might be on a lot of people's minds, because number one, he is doing Cosmos.
This is a big set of shoes to fill. Carl Sagan was a genius, and he created something wonderful with the original Cosmos series. So naturally, there's gonna have to be comparison. There's gonna have to be like, was he pressured to impersonate Carl Sagan versus just being Neil deGrasse Tyson?
And at the same time, Neil deGrasse Tyson is usually energetic and fun, whereas the opening episode of Cosmos, you can't be energetic fun. You have to be domineering and poignant. And anybody with a voice as deep as Tyson's being domineering and poignant is going to sound a little like Carl Sagan.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like it was holding back a little bit of the normal Neil deGrasse Tyson that we see. It was not the fun-loving kind of energetic Neil deGrasse Tyson who kids can really relate to. I did feel a little bit more like a version of Carl Sagan. But that's not a bad thing. Like, that's absolutely not a bad thing.
Episode 1, where you have to be like, this is very, 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 very important.
And it is.
So I'm hoping down the line of the series that we see a little bit of more of that fun, frustrated, energetic Tyson that we've grown to know and love.
Right. I would say we were fortunate enough that we got to watch the question and answers afterwards, and you could definitely see the normal Neil deGrasse Tyson, those Q&As, like
We need to go back to the moon, apparently.
We do.
We haven't looked nearly enough on the moon.
Well, we haven't, obviously. We need to go back to the moon. What are we looking for on the moon again?
We're looking for dinosaurs on the moon.
We're looking for dinosaurs on the moon.
There's dinosaurs on the moon.
There's a stegosaurus on the other side, on the dark side of the moon.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get that stegosaurus.
It's only in the parts of the moon that could have been hit by Earth.
It could have been hit by where the moon kind of could have collided with us.
Yeah, or like a meteor chucked into the Earth, and it flew up, and some bits and pieces, maybe, cross your fingers, hit the moon, and we're going to go up there and see the moon doesn't move. There's no oceans or lava or whatever on the moon, so it's just going to be there forever. So we can land there, and from 60 million years ago, some chunk of dinosaur or whatever that flew on the moon, we can find it.
That's true. That's accurate. This is a true fact.
We got to go back.
We have to go back!
We got to go back to the moon.
Oh man, as opposed to a useless island, it's the moon, which is kind of badass. So I mean, it's a little bit more enticing than going back on Lost.
Yeah, it might be less useless than we thought.
Yes.
Which, if that doesn't sell you on something,
it's slightly less useless than we thought. That's how I get most of my boyfriends. She's slightly less useless than I thought.
Sadly, that works on us. Caroline's tweet got on the Cosmos Twitter feed.
It did! And if you've seen my Twitter avatar, it's me in my my donut costume. So that was nice to see on the big screen.
That was fun. None of my tweets did, because
your tweets were a little bit more political. Like
they were well, I mentioned Fox News.
Yeah, that's automatic politics.
That's a good question, though. How is Fox going to respond to Cosmos?
Right.
Fox News.
This is a concern.
Because this is a show that it presumes reality.
Yes.
It presumes the universe is, billions and billions of years old. It presumes that we evolved.
Right.
Out of the ocean and stuff. It presumes that anything we will learn or have learned has been through the scientific method.
Right.
Through guessing and then testing those guesses.
There's also something that this show does touch upon that's a little bit...
How did this show promote atheism?
I don't think it promoted it per se. It just touched upon it a little bit in kind of the way that religion fills a void in us, it was kind of pushing science to fill that same kind of void. So we can kind of see the beauty in our existence through science versus religion. And with the animated parts that we're touching on, the monk who was promoting his ideas about the universe, it did talk a lot about the instruments of torture that religious folks were using on him towards the end, and he was put to death for promoting science at the end.
It was a big. It really did criticize. It really did harsh on religious dominance of thoughts, and the thought, like they actually used.
He used the word thought police.
Yeah, which they literally were police who punished you for thoughts.
We were talking about the Spanish Inquisition at this point, of course. He was put to death by them. So I mean, we are painting religion in a slightly negative light.
So it harshed on religion, but I will say, and maybe it's just because I'm a knee-jerk atheist, not a militant atheist. I don't give a fuck about your cause.
About that.
You have a convention because you reject one claim. That's cute. Anyways, I go to a convention where we reject thousands of claims. Anyways, I thought it was a little easy on the whole God thing. It's like, it's like if the universe is infinite, or if God is infinite, how could his creation be limited? Therefore, the universe fits in with God. And it was like, are we supposed to make religious people feel okay about God in the face of science?
I think we're not. I think it's important to play to your entire audience, and if we're talking about America specifically, like, it is important to kind of
cosmos.
And it's cosmos.
And like Bob Dylan says, what's more American than America?
Than America.
How fucking retarded was that commercial, by the way?
That was pretty ridiculous. There was a Chrysler commercial shown before us with Bob Dylan's narration, and we're all staring at each other like, how much did they pay Bob Dylan?
And then he starts talking about the world like either a third grader or like a senile old man. He's like, get your electronics from Japan. Go ahead and get your watches from Switzerland.
He actually specifically said, have your electronics built in Asia.
Built.
And I was just, it was uncomfortable for a moment.
Yeah, but get your cars in America. Bob Dylan, ding 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 ding. That's what he's gonna be on. I think that's the final culmination of Bob Dylan. Ding 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 ding.
It's gonna be Deliverance.
Yeah, it's gonna be Deliverance.
Bob Dylan will become Deliverance.
He has slowly over the years turned into that old crazy hick. Like, he went from badass, rebellious, like, I'm gonna take music and do with it whatever the fuck I want, to now the crazy old hick.
All right, well, Bob Dylan tangents aside.
Watch that commercial. It's stupid. What was the first commercial, though? What was it, Samsung?
Yes, Samsung Galaxy, which they were showing over a picture of a nebula.
Hey, do you have an iPhone? I'm Samsung. Do you have an iPhone? That was Samsung's commercial. Did I spit on you?
No, I'm just going to check my iPhone real
fast. Yeah. That was the commercial. It's like, do you have an iPhone? Because it sucks. I'm Samsung.
No, here's the big thing about the Samsung Galaxy that I was bothered by. They were showing images. They were showing images of nebulas, very specifically nebulas, and they were putting Samsung Galaxy over it. And I'm just like, it's not a galaxy, guys. There are beautiful images of galaxies they could have used, but they used Cat's Eye Nebula.
So you are so much more clever. You're more better than I am, because I didn't even realize that they weren't using a galaxy. So good catch.
Nerded out for you.
No, I dig that. That's
clever
awesome.
Girl.
Clever girl. But yeah, that was an obnoxious commercial. Are you carrying a phone that doesn't shoot 18 megapixels? No, because it's a fucking phone.
18 megapixels.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Does your watch film in 4K? Like, what the fuck? Oh, there was a little bit of alcohol going on. That was fun.
Seth MacFarlane whipped out a bottle of Jim Beam on stage, like a tiny bottle, and gave it to Anne because someone asked them a question along the lines of, do you think human beings lived on Mars until it became inhabitable and then they traveled to Earth? And
this person was in front of a NASA sign, by the way.
They were in, they were in a space center. I think.
So if you think our exposure to science has failed us greatly, this person was standing in front of NASA asking this question.
This was the worst. That was the worst question I ever heard in my life.
This is exciting. We're going to go to Orlando's Kennedy Space Center for a question, I think, for Anne.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm at the Kennedy Space Center. Do you think humans inhabited Mars and then came to Earth when Mars became uninhabitable?
No.
Moving on. What does he do at Kennedy Space Center?
I think he was listening to Galileo and maybe having some wine.
No, but there's,
Well, as long as
there's
he's
something.
drinking.
I just wonder who is handling out little bottles of alcohol at a super classy premiere party.
Maybe Seth MacFarlane just came prepared.
But
You have to be prepared. You don't know what's going to happen.
I assume Seth MacFarlane would have a flask of some kind.
Well, he wanted to make sure that people knew that he drank Jim Beam.
I guess so.
It was like a little mini commercial for Jim Beam happening.
Was it Jim Beam? It wasn't Jack Daniels?
I think it was Jim Beam.
I don't know. Can't tell. The only time I've ever seen little bottles like that are hotels or when you go
on airplanes. Or...
Yeah. Like you purposefully have to go out of your way to find those.
Yeah. Random tangent, I have seen some very cool bouquets made out of those tiny bottles of alcohol. I may or may not be making one.
I like the Christmas canes that are filled with it's literally just a stack of bottles inside a giant
Those are cool.
candy cane shape.
Yeah, I'm making a bouquet of them for Donnie's arrival.
That'd be badass.
So we can do shots. Anyway,
Cosmos. The CGI. Holy shit. The computer graphics are amazing. And I could tell you 97% of them are going to hold up in 10 years.
Yeah. This is going to be a piece of real beautiful film for a long time. I'm really excited to see what the other 12 episodes look like.
There's going to be very few pieces that may not hold up in 10, 20 years, but most of it gorgeous, like
the animation is
gorgeous.
Perfect. The CGI is perfect. Neil Degrasse Tyson is perfect. So, what do you think this is going to mean for kids watching this? How do you think? Do you think this will affect a generation?
I think in the question and answer section, Tyson said it more poignantly than I ever could or will even remember how he said it. But this isn't as much for kids as it is for adults. Like the kids are all right. They're going to be fine. They're explorers. They're interested. Right. Kids are already interested. It's the adults that we got to jangle the keys in front of and catch. You know, it's like I'm not doing nut-kicking videos for little kids.
You're not?
No, I'm not. I'm doing it for the grown-ups.
Really?
The grown-ups who live in that psyche that, douchebag humor is relevant or whatever. Right. But Cosmos is for adults, and so I think my perspective is the perspective that they're trying to reach, which is like regular grown people set in their ways. And to me, it's gorgeous, and it was so crystal clear, even though we can't quite repeat some of the stuff that went on because, we like you are idiots too.
But at least we're attractive idiots.
We're pretty darn cute. I don't know how kids will take it. I guess they'll take it the same way they take anything else that's interesting with pretty colors.
Right, that's true. I've seen a couple of things that Neil deGrasse Tyson put out that were specifically geared towards children, like the Pluto Files or anything.
All of his Nova specials.
All of his Nova stuff is really like interesting in a way that
all available for free online, like on Nova, by the way. Like you can watch any of them.
Yeah, they're also on Netflix if you just
some of them.
Yeah, well, the Pluto Files is, and that's the one that I like the best.
I like the one where he plays with the dogs.
Which one is that in?
I don't know. He plays with this dog.
He plays with dogs in the Pluto Files. He plays with Pluto in the Pluto Files.
Does he play with the dog that can remember like 1,000 objects?
No, I don't think so.
And he makes it go look for Darwin?
We go on a lot of tangents.
I'm comfortable with that.
It's okay. All right. You should be comfortable with yourself.
He throws an object that the dog's never seen into a pile and says, go look for Darwin, which is a word he's never heard. Mm-hmm. And the dog finds it, because he does deductive reasoning.
That's banana pants.
Yeah.
That is absolute banana pants. This is something that I would have watched with my parents after like The Simpsons or watching animation on Fox on Sunday night. This just feels like something that we would have sat down together as a family and watched. But I grew up very differently than the rest of America. I'm sure my parents are both scientists and they kind of raised me to be a massive nerd.
Fucking wasp.
Wasps aren't raised nerdy. Wasps are raised to like play
That's
tennis
true. That's
and
true.
horseback rides.
What does WASP stand for?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
So WASP.
Wasa? White Anglo-Saxon atheist?
Oh, I was going to say scientist, but I like wasa better.
Wasa or
I think kids will enjoy it. I don't think, and this is fortunate, I don't think the kids will get the same existential weird crisis thing that might happen for a lot of adults watching this.
Right.
You know, who in their living rooms at night, maybe alone, like start gripping the couch.
Realizing how small they are in the universe.
You know, yeah. But, so I don't think kids are gonna catch the existential crisis just like they didn't catch it in WALL-E when, hey, it's a cute little robot and he thinks trash is valuable, haha.
Yeah.
And the adult is sitting next to the child. But, yeah, so I think it's great for all ages.
I think this was one of the most beautiful television shows I've seen, and I'm really excited to see what else happens.
Shit,
I'm peeing myself with excitement right now.
I know this is like way too soon or whatever, but I can't wait to get the Blu-rays. You know?
It's gonna be a good show to marathon, and it's just I think it really does what Carl Sagan had initially set out to do.
Yeah. I can't wait to get the Blu-rays especially after I get my new subwoofer. Because that's
the music is pretty epic in this, so
yeah,
it's gonna.
It's got a lot to live up to.
It really does. The original TV show was, oh my god, epic.
That soundtrack still kind of like gets me.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the original Cosmos now because I just need to. Like, I feel like it's imperative to my existence right now.
And catch some of that soundtrack because I swear to God, Adagio D minor, the Clint Mansell song. That's got to be like directly inspired from some of those tracks in Cosmos because it has the same progression and it gets you right fucking there. That bittersweet, existential, like you're falling in love. It's like falling in love on your deathbed, you know? It's a poignant soundtrack. So, but this one, thus far, one episode, it's a beautiful fucking soundtrack.
It really captures the whole idea of the show. That epic, sweeping idea where he's trying to present the entire universe to us with only 13 hours to tell it to us. It's just, oh my gosh. I'm gonna start crying thinking about this. This is too much. Oh my goodness.
So anyways, we loved it. It's great. Grab somebody dear to you or just snuggle up with it because it's awesome. I'm definitely going to be watching it with my girl, and you are going to be watching it in spirit with your boy, and eventually with your boy. Not spirit. He's not dead. He's
not.
I didn't. If he dies, that's not my fucking fault.
If he dies before he moves to Los Angeles,
I didn't jinx anything.
I'm punching you so hard. Punching you so hard.
He's gonna be fine. Anyways, you will eventually be.
I will eventually watch this with Donnie. Eventually, this will be watched with Donnie.
And to that end.
All right, so there is a beautiful quote from Contact by Carl Sagan, of course, that I think kind of encompasses the idea of the cosmos, and that is, for small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love. So, find that person you love and watch the cosmos.
Love you, Ann.
Gross.
Shut up.
You just blew my fucking mind. Wow.